Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
This story seems to come from a non-English speaker using machine translation to translate this story. I tried to correct the grammar to make the story as coherent as possible. There still may be some mistakes in the text that I missed. Please enjoy the broadcast.
So I don't know how y'all write stories here, but I've seen people use green text, so be it. This happened when I was 16 years old during the summer break. I live in the countryside, so nothing really happens. One day I meet this town fella who comes to live here once a year with his father during the whole summer. I've seen him earlier, but we never talked to each other. One day while all the kids and teens gather together, including the guy, to play a card game. While playing Mafia, someone brings up the subjects of moving stars that you can see in the night sky. The guy says that these are aliens. I ask him more about this. We start to talk about weird, paranormal stuff together. He seems like a chill dude. Turns out his father is really into the UFOs and was the one to teach his son about it. After the game ends, we promise each other to meet again. Days pass by. I have a really great time swimming, cycling with my new buddy. Unironically, the best time of my life. He taught me a lot of life lessons as he was a bit older at the time. He was around 18 years old. He even found me a job when I was searching for one at the time, as I needed the money. So I don't know why I wrote this prefix to actual stories, but I have two of them that relate to this guy. I will write them next, so you have to wait a bit as I am a slow typer, but I promise they are worth it. The first story closely relates to meditation. We talk a lot about spiritual stuff and higher beings. One day he straight up says that we will meditate today after some work. We could not find a silent place, so we just went to the football field that was like 200 meters away from the main village and started the first session there. My first meditation experience I had was at home and lasted a painful 15 minutes. He set the bar to 30 minutes and said,
"Every single other session will be bigger. The next one will be an hour long, the next 2 hours, then 4 and finally 8 hours.
I was shook, but whatever, this guy seemed to know what he was doing. Nothing special happened. We sat there and meditated for 30 minutes. I felt my blood circle through my veins in my legs. For the next session, the place was found like half a kilometer away from people around. It was in a hayfield. There were these big piles of haystacks, so we climbed on one and started the 1-hour session. All was good, even though I could not really clear my mind of thoughts. Shit went down at the third session, which was supposed to be 2 hours long. It was late evening, like 10 p.m. For whatever reason, I really wanted the sessions end right now. My buddy was against it, but after a while he finally agreed. Through the dark on our bikes, we were going to our place. As we got closer, I heard this really weird sound that I've never heard before nor after that day. It sounded like someone was blowing in this Viking horn that is always shown in movies. For whatever reason, I felt chills go through my body. Yes, I did.
Well, that's bad. I believe I've heard it before. Whatever, let's meditate.
I asked him about the sound, but he clearly didn't want to speak about it, like a typical guy in horror stories who knows everything but tells nothing. We got to the place and started meditating. I could not focus once again. After what felt like 30 minutes had passed, he screamed and woke me up out of the meditation state. He was visibly shaken.
Grab your bag and pack everything up fast. I'm going too.
It was not the time to ask questions, as he already grabbed his bag and almost climbed down the haystack. I followed him straight ahead. We both got on our bikes and rode back to the village. As we had just left the place, I heard that same sound, and it felt like it was now right around where we were meditating. We were going full speed on our bikes as the sound seemed to follow us. After a 3-minute ride, we stopped near the first road light we managed to find. I saw my buddy was in a panic. I calmed him down and he started to tell me what happened. The next part is from his perspective.
Like 15 minutes in, I managed to astral project.
He could do these things as he was an experienced man in this field, which I understood from our talks.
I've seen our bodies sitting on the haystack. I looked around and saw a very bright light. While heading towards this direction, I felt a strong aura around me. When I was near the source of light, I saw a person. I could feel he had a much more powerful aura than me. I wanted to ask who he was, but as we started to contact each other, I felt a sickening feeling coming from the direction where our bodies were located. As it seemed he had felt it too and asked to offer some help figuring out what was happening. We flew back to the spot and we saw this thing.
Now bear with me, I have had severe memory loss since I was 14. So I don't remember the exact description of this being, but after he told me how it looked, I had this exact image in my head that I just cannot forget till this day, so I'll base the description off of this image. It was 12 meters tall, human-like spirit with a really long torso with over 4 pairs of hands and a big ugly head. As he explained, this is the creature that was creating the horn sound as we were coming to the place and leaving it. It immediately started some sort of attack. It literally stepped on the projection of my buddy and forced him to re-enter his body. Last thing he saw was this other projection whom he met earlier was fighting the creature. He searched through his bag trying to find cigarettes as he really needed to smoke at the moment. He could not find them. His panic rose up again and I told him to calm down and that his cigarettes probably fell out of his bag when he jumped from the haystack. I told him I'll go back and grab them, but he didn't let me go alone. He was scared to death to go back there, but the need for tobacco took over. When we got closer to the spot, he screamed again. End of the ride, we found the cigarettes and rode back as fast as we could. I asked him why he had screamed. He could have sworn that he saw the creature with his very eyes when we were approaching the place. He was in such a state that no actor could mimic, and when I say that I mean it. I saw him in his most pathetic state, scared as shit, shaking like it's cold winter here, eyes are red but no tears, his gaze seems to go nowhere. The man was lost. He finally smoked and just sat there waiting. I did not want to bother him. But then he started talking.
I feel them.
Feel whom?
People. There are more people coming from this direction.
He pointed east from the haystacks.
To the place.
He felt more and more bright aura, but as time passed the bad aura started to come as well. I will tell you, he isn't a man of emotions and he can take a fight, but seeing him lose it more than once was a very dramatic situation. He said that he could feel these beings from 3 directions in a circle-like form coming towards us. He lost it and was just staring at the supposed distance between us and the creatures. It was quite a long wait. I did not know what to do either, so I just was here with him, mentally supporting him. After that, the beings formed a circle with a radius of about 10 meters around us and stood there for 10 minutes. Panic wore off and we were just talking about what they might want from us and what they are even doing. Then in a blink of an eye he stopped feeling them at all. They vanished. We were confused but felt sweet relief. As it was already late and I had to go home, we stood near the lamppost for the last 15 minutes making sure they wouldn't come back, and we went our separate ways. The day after all of this happened, my buddy said that he could now feel people's aura. Also, he told his father about what happened and later told us a bit more about the astral world. To be exact,
every time someone enters the astral world, a life is taken. I wouldn't do that anymore, as this life could very well be my own. Even though you can get benefits, taking something requires giving something away.
And also he assumed that these beings were some sort of guardians or demons of this astral world. That's the end of this story. The next one will be shorter and with no action, but a life-changing view. I was chilling in his house playing cards when the evening grew darker and a storm started to form. At first I thought it would just be a big rain, but then lightning started to form. It was the single greatest storm that I saw in my entire life. We were so charmed by the lightning that we could not move from the window. At one point we even went outside. I still remember watching in the sky, and then just for a couple of milliseconds I saw 5 separate lightning flashes in my field of view. It was beautiful. As the weather passed by, we went to a better place outside of the house area to see the remains of the storm slowly fade away. At one point we sat on the asphalt, it was surprisingly dry already, and decided to play a yes or no game with the storm for the lulls. We asked it questions, and if the lightning hit twice, it's a yes. Once, it's a no. Firstly, the questions were childish, but then I decided to ask some logical questions like, is the sky blue? Or, do humans have 2 legs? And to our surprise, every answer was correct. Since then, we spent like 20 minutes asking only logical questions. We even were changing the yes or no pattern, so now 1 lightning meant yes, and 2 meant no, and the other way around. I personally remember asking the storm 15 logical questions, the answers to which were always correct. Think about this, even if we take yes or no as a 50-50. Which it's not, because how could a lightning hit either once or twice be a 50% chance? It would make the possibility of all answers being correct 1/2 15. And that's not including the questions my buddy asked, because I don't remember how many times he did this. At this point we were 100% sure we were talking to an intelligent being. We started asking hard life questions, somehow making them in yes or no answer format. 2 of the last questions before the storm went away were, are you Mother Nature? At which the lightning struck once, meaning yes. Were you a human before? My buddy asked. The lightning struck once. Yes. The reason he asked this question is because he is a believer in the theory that humans with some sort of training can become higher beings. Mother Nature's answer proved his theory, I guess. Do I believe in this? Yes, I was there, I witnessed it, I prayed even. Do with this information what you will. Good luck to y'all and become better humans.
People say that I went astral accidentally, but I don't know. 11 years old. Me on Sunday night in the middle of the winter, drawing nature and birds and shit, having fun while laying on the floor, drawing a raven sitting on the branch. Start to feel a bit funny, like tingly, as if I was electrocuted by small amounts all over my body. What's going on? I start to see simple shapes of different colors flash before my eyes, basically obscuring 30% of vision. Think about how cool this is. Maybe I am getting superpowers. Stop hearing anything other than some kind of humming noise and it gets louder. Look at my hands. They are a little bit wavy and my fingers look like long triangular prisms. I try to get up and ask Mom WTF, but I feel like my whole body is partially paralyzed. It is hard to navigate. The light of the lamp and shadows are all blended in and it is hard to navigate. I barely make it to the living room where Mom is watching TV. But I am still calm, still not in the field of view of my mom. Try to say something. I can't talk, like if I had a huge metal ball in my throat. You know the feeling like when you want to say something while crying? Similar. Come closer to Mom. She doesn't react in any way. The picture on TV is static. In fact, it seems that everything except me is static. My sight catches some movement behind my window. A glimpse at it. There is an egg-shaped creature covered in black fur, and long black shaped like thin spider legs quills, with short fangs and blue fire eyes. It quickly vanishes and it felt like it appeared behind cause I felt its hot breath behind me. Fall unconscious. Wake up in the morning in my bed. Mom says that I just got to bed earlier than usual and nothing strange happened besides that. She thinks it was a dream. I am not sure.
Be me, around 8th grade. Find this book on meditation and Kundalini awakening and all this crazy stuff I've never heard of before. Buy it, start reading it. The book specifically warns me not to do it half-assedly and that it's not to be done out of order. At the time I'm into all kinds of weird websites and forums about Eastern spirituality, and Kai manipulation and martial arts and Chinese medicine, and psionics and telepathy, and lucid dreaming and stuff like that. Start reading the book out of order and in chunks while simultaneously fucking around with lucid dreaming, astral projection, meditation, psionics, shielding, etc. Spend like a solid year living like some kind of lunatic monk, unironically trying to master Kai and open my chakras and shit. Actually really go for it and produce results. I woke up one night and my entire bedroom is alive with this hot, static, electric buzzing throughout all the air. I can feel the most hostile presence I've ever felt in my life just emanating from my bedroom window. I don't even want to look at it. Just get up and start heading for my door. Thud. My limbs are fucking asleep and I hear my legs hitting the ground uselessly but don't feel it. I'm in fucking terror now but know I still shouldn't look out my window. Somehow still manage to push through and scramble for the fucking door slowly. The air is on fire with this buzzing electric shit and it's like it's resisting me leaving. Don't look back, don't look back. Suddenly I hear voices. Like, not in my head, they're in the room with me. It was like something was right behind me and breathing down my neck and talking right into my ear. And I got goosebumps. It was an angry, hostile voice, but it was many voices that were all one voice, and they were speaking different tongues and all saying the same thing even though they were saying different things and all sounded different. Like 1,000 of them all at once, loud as shit. Right behind me and talking straight into my fucking ear like it's breathing down my neck. I have fucking hackles up my spine describing this shit. It was clearly some kind of human speech in a million languages I had never heard before, but there were overlapping voices in the Legion that were speaking French and fucking Latin. And it didn't sound like a human mouth was speaking it. I don't even know how to describe that. But there's no fucking way that was a human tongue and lips and teeth making those sounds. It sounded like some other animal entirely using human speech from the way I could hear the parts of its mouth smacking and separating as it spoke into my ear from behind me. It wasn't a human mouth talking. It sounded so fucking malicious and angry and hostile I don't even know where to begin describing that. Fucking nope out of the room and hunker down in the upstairs game room praying to God and saying every prayer I know to Jesus and Saint Michael and a bazillion Hail Marys and everything I could think of, begging Jesus for help in the dark. Eventually go back into the bedroom to dig out my old rosary and bolt back out with it. And that's how I stopped fucking around with meditation and chakras.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.
Remember that all videos have been archived on the Odyssey page.